Hey guys, Caliborn back. So we're going to see how long this light lasts first of all. We're going to go into episode 3, which is of my herbal, I don't really want to call it a class, but informational videos. There we go. They're not really educational, but it's whatever. Okay, so elderberries. Those of you that are familiar with them, I'll go over some stuff that you may not be so familiar with, but about the berries. But here's what they look like. If I can, you really can't see them. They're just this little tiny berry that's dried out. This is a pound of them, so I mean, this is what a pound looks like. And there's a lot of, God, my nose will not stop. There's a lot of information that I have to go over with these. Let me get this big enough that I can see it from far away. Okay, so Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, just Wikipedia. Looks like the name for it is actually Sambucus. Elder or elderberry is a genus of flowering plant in the family Adoxia. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try this time. It was formerly placed in the honeysuckle family, but it was reclassified due to genetic evidence. It contains between 5 and 30 species of deciduous shrubs, small trees, and herbaceous perennial plants. The genus occurs in temperate to subtropical regions of the world, more widespread in the northern hemisphere. Its southern hemisphere occurrence is restricted to parts of Australasia and South America. Australasia, never, yeah. Many species are widely cultivated for their ornamental leaves, flowers, or fruit, and fruit. The leaves are pinnate and with 5 to 9 leaflets, rarely 3 or 11. Each leaf is 5 to 30, well, 2 to 11.8 inches long, and the leaflets have serrated margins. They bear large clusters of small white or cream-colored flowers in late spring. These are followed by clusters of small black, blue-black, or red berries, rarely yellow or white. So that's just kind of how you can identify it. I will put some pictures in here. So you can see what it looks like with it flowering. The black-berried elder complex is variously treated as a single species, found in warmer parts of Europe and North America with several regional varieties of subspecies, or else as a group of several similar species. The flowers are in flat corymbs, and the berries are black to blue in color. They are larger shrubs reaching from 3 to 8 meters, which is 9.8 to 26.2 feet tall. So they can be rather large. This is almost a berry or a plant that I want to get because the flowers are pretty, and elderberries are, yeah, we'll get into everything that they do. Occasionally small trees up to 15 meters, which is 49 feet tall, with a stem diameter of up to anywhere from a foot to 2 feet in diameter. So they can become very large trees. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different varieties. And the variety that I have is Sambucus nigra, which is the elder or black elder from Europe and Western Asia with black berries. This is a species most often used medicinally. So whenever you're looking for elderberries, you want to look for the Sambucus nigra. And this is how you spell it, just in case you're looking for it. Because this is the one that's most often used medicinally. Okay, so the flowers of the Sambucus nigra are used to produce elderflower cordial. The French, Austrians, and Central Europeans produce elderflower syrup, commonly made from extract of elderflower blossoms, which is added to some kind of filling instead of blueberries. People throughout much of Central, Eastern, and Southeastern Europe use a similar method to make the syrup, which is diluted with water and used as a drink. Based on the syrup, Phantom markets a soft drink they call Shocada, inspired by a Romanian cocktail, Cicada, Suc de Soc. I'm not shitting you. SUCD space DE space SOC. Which is sold in 15 countries worldwide. In the United States, this French elderflower syrup is used to make elderflower marshmallows. Saint Germain, a French liqueur, is made from elderflowers. Holland's Flader, a Swedish something, is flavored with elderflowers. Let's see. Okay, so cultivation. Ornamental varieties of Sambucus are grown in gardens for their showy flowers, fruits, and lacy foliage. Native species of elderberries are often planted by people wishing to support native butterfly and bird species. So it's a plant that, yeah, it attracts butterflies and birds. The birds probably for the berries, and the butterflies for the flowers. Which, who doesn't want a bunch of butterflies around? So, folk medicine. Black elderberry has been used medicinally for hundreds of years. Some preliminary studies demonstrate that elderberry may have a measurable effect in treating the flu, alleviating allergies, and boosting overall respiratory health. Now, we're getting into medicinal qualities of this. Again, this is just for educational purposes. This is not saying, hey, go out and get this. They do, however, sell elderberry syrup at the store. So I will say that they have a cough syrup that's at the store that is made from elderberries. And we'll get into some other information here shortly. But I will say that this is not a plant that is going to be toxic to you like the other herbs that I've gone over so far. That's why I bought it in such a huge quantity, because it's used more for medicinal uses for me. So, okay, so elder is used in traditional Chinese medicine, dissolved in wine for rheumatism and traumatic injury. There's stuff about music in here. I'm not going to Okay, so toxicity. We'll talk about this real quick. The ripe cooked berries, pulp, and skin of most species of Sambucus are edible. However, most uncooked berries and other parts of the plants from this genus are poisonous. Sambucus nigra is the only variety considered to be non-toxic. The other reason why I buy this variety. Now, this is from Monterey Bay Spice Company. This is the only variety that I have seen on there, and this is wild crafted, which means that it's come from the wild, or grown in the wild, and harvested. So, but it is the only variety that is considered non-toxic. But it is still recommended that its berries be cooked slightly for culinary purposes. The leaves, twigs, branches, seeds, and roots of the Sambucus plants can contain a cyanide-inducing glycoside, a glycoside which gives rise to cyanide as it is metabolized. Ingesting a sufficient quantity of cyanide-inducing glycosides can cause a toxic buildup of cyanide in the body. I don't know if any of you know or realize that a lot of the foods and really anything that's grown has some form and minute amounts of cyanide in it. It's just there. So whenever I'm saying cyanide-inducing glycosides, don't go too far into thinking that, because it says ingesting sufficient quantity. They don't say what sufficient quantity is, but let's just don't overdo it. Put it that way. It can cause toxic buildup. In 1984, a group of 25 people were made sick. Well, that's nice. Let's just make you sick so we can... Apparently by elderberry juice pressed from fresh, uncooked Sambucus mexicana berries. Not the kind that I have. Again, this is Sambucus mexicana berries, leaves, and stems. However, all 25 recovered quickly, including one individual who was hospitalized after drinking 5 glasses. I think if the rest of them started getting sick after 1 glass, chances are I wouldn't be drinking 5. Sorry. Okay. And there go my contacts again. Alright, so ecology. The berries are a very valuable food resource for many birds. That's why I said it's a bird. Let me just check to make sure that this is aiming towards me. Because if it's aiming towards the fan, it will pick up the fan. Okay. Many birds eat these. That's why a lot of the birds, well, that's why it attracts birds, is for the berries. It attracts butterflies for the flowers, obviously. In Northern California, elderberries are a favorite food of migrating band-tailed pigeons. Just what I want in my yard is a bunch of flying rats. Flocks can strip an entire bush in less than an hour. Elders are used as food plants by the larvae of some species, including, or actually butterflies. So, no, that's not a butterfly. Moths. Dot moth, emperor moth, engrailed moth, and swallow-tailed moth. The crushed foliage and immature fruit have a strong fetid smell. Let's see, it also attracts valley elderberry longhorn beetles in California. So if you're in California, chances are you don't want to grow this. Otherwise you're going to have a bunch of shit running around your yard. Bugs. By shit is what I mean. Let's see. Dead elderwood is preferred habitat of the mushroom. So if you have a dead elderberry tree in your yard, chances are you're going to start finding mushrooms, which Usually it's Jew's ear fungus is the mushroom name. The pith of elder has been used by watchmakers for cleansing or cleaning tools before intricate work. Habitat, like it looks like most of the time, it's going to be a nitrogen-loving plant. It seems like every plant is nitrogen-loving, obviously. There's some that are not so much, but yeah, so it does like or thrives near places of organic waste disposal. So if you are going to actually try to grow your own, it's best to probably get some good fertilizer, or, and when I say fertilizer, I don't mean go out and buy Miracle Grow. I mean go out and get like manure or compost or something of that nature. And manure doesn't have to stink. You can go to Walmart. I'm sorry guys, my nose really is just irritating the shit out of me. You can go to Walmart and get some manure, but it just smells like dirt. But it's got the nutrients in it. So it's not fussy about soil type, so don't worry about that, or pH level. It will virtually grow anywhere where it gets enough light. So it does want a lot of light. Now, elders are often grown in hedgerow as a hedgerow plant in Britain, since they take very fast, can be bent into shape easily, and grow quite profusely. Thus having gained the reputation of being an instant hedge. It's not fussy about soil type. You always need to just talk about that. Okay, so folklore. Folklore is extensive with this plant, and it can be widely conflicting depending on your region. So probably more in actually we'll just talk about some of the stuff. In some areas, the elder tree was supposed to be used to ward off evil influence and give protection from witches, while other beliefs say that witches often congregate under the plant, especially when it's full of fruit. I would have to say if I had a 49-foot tree, I probably would congregate under it as well. If an elder tree was cut down, a spirit known as the Elder Mother would be released and take her revenge. The tree could only safely be cut while chanting a rhyme to the Elder Mother. So this is for all of you that are going to run out and put a tree in the ground, an elder bush or whatever. Don't cut it down, because the Elder Mother may come after you. So that's it on Wikipedia. So let me transfer over to this other page. This is coming from Sacred Earth. This is another page that I'm getting some information from. Okay. So the name elder is probably derived from the Anglo-Saxon word. Actually, we're not even going to go into that. Old names for this are holler, hilder, hillentree, and the German word Hollander all refer to an ancient vegetation goddess, Hildmoer, as she was known in Denmark. Once upon a time, the elder tree was considered sacred to this goddess, and the tree's gifts were regarded as her blessings. It was commonly believed that elders were inhabited by a tree dryad who was thought to represent the soul of the tree. Soul of the tree, and sometimes was seen as aspect of the goddess herself. If treated well and honored appropriately, the dryad was the most benevolent benevolent, benevolent spirit that blessed and protected the people who cared for it. Thus, elders were often planted around the house, on the farm, where they served as a shrine to the goddess whose protective powers could be invoked by making prayers and offerings to the tree. So this is a little folklore for you. The only legitimate reason for cutting down an elder tree or making any part of it was to use it for medicine or protective charm, and even that only with the consent of the resident dryad. To ask for consent, the person would bend their bared heads, fold their arms, and solemnly exclaim, "Lady Elhorn, give me some of that. Give me some of thy wood, and I will give thee some of mine when it grows in the forest." So, okay. So that's back in those days. Now, with the rise of Christianity and the subsequent persecution of any form of tree worship, the sacred elder tree became a tree of witches, and the old stories were soon distorted and turned around to suit the preachers of the new religion. The church portrayed elder as a tree of sorrow because Judas supposedly hung himself from an elder tree after betraying Jesus. Even the cross upon which Jesus was crucified was said to have been made of elder wood. According to Christian mythology, this was the reason why elders never since could stand up straight, and even to this day barely have the strength to support themselves. If it's growing 49 feet tall and it's staying 49 feet tall, chances are it's got enough strength to support itself. Nevertheless, some of the older beliefs persisted, and the people carried on pinning elder leaves to the doors to ward off witches, demons, and other evil influences. During the Middle Ages, such folkloristic magic was practiced all over Europe, and many curious customs evolved from eventually merging of pre-Christian and Christian beliefs. For example, it was thought that witches and sorcerers could be revealed by cutting the pith of elder stems into flat discs, dipping them in oil, setting them alight, and floating them in a glass of water. If performed on Christmas Eve, the author of this recommendation does not specify how the demons would manifest under the circumstances, though, on the other hand, one could also use elder to entice the devil for one's own purpose. On the 6th of January, when the devil apparently goes about with special virulence, one could try to obtain some of his mystic fern seed, which was believed to give its owner the strength of 30 to 40 men, keep worms out of furniture, repel snakes and mosquitoes, and cure toothaches. So for a bunch of Christians, they sure were in hell and running around using our stuff for our things. Sorry. I have nothing against Christians, I'm just saying. Let's see. So, the biggest reputation was protection against evil spirits. Seems to be common everywhere, from Russia to Romania, and from Sicily to Scotland. A less common custom from Serbia, where elder twigs were believed to bestow good luck to the newlywed couple if introduced at a wedding ceremony. This old pagan custom may have been the basis of more recent belief common in Britain during Victorian times. According to this belief, a man and a woman could marry within a year if they were to drink together from an ale that had been infused with elderflowers. Okay. So, contemporary medicinal uses. Elder still counts among most useful medicinal plants available to modern herbalists. All parts of the plant are Sorry, everybody's adding me on YouTube and it's popping up. Ugh. Okay. All parts of the plant are medicinally active, and in times gone by, a myriad of different remedies were prepared from different parts, since heroic medicine has somewhat gone out of fashion these days. Elder bark, root bark, and leaves are no longer used. Uses for these parts are cited here merely for the sake of historical completion, as their action is very powerful. Caution is advised, and self-medication is not recommended. Same thing I said. I will give you the information. You do with it as you wish. But it's not my fault. Okay, so parts used. The leaves are used dry or fresh. Flowers, same, dry or fresh. Berries are best preserved as cordial, syrup, or wine, or in this case, dried. The harvest time for the leaves would be spring. It gives the constituents that are in the leaves. And if you'd like, I can put that information down below. Just ask me for it and I'll do it. Actions that you can use it for externally: emollient and anti-inflammatory; internally, purgative, diuretic, diaphoretic, and expectorant. And an ointment made with fresh green leaves, traditionally known as, I'm not going to pronounce it, green elder ointment, can be used for treatment of chilblains, sprains, bruises, and wounds, and was also once valued as an emollient. Leaves boiled with linseed oil makes a soothing application for hemorrhoids. Old herbals mention to use the green elder leaves against nervous headaches. For this purpose, the leaves were heated between two hot tiles, then applied to the forehead. Culpepper says it purgeth the brain. And another subscriber. Let's see. Internally, an infusion of the leaves served as a treatment for dropsy. Probably due to the diuretic properties, they are said to be purgative and more nauseating than the bark. Now flowers, you can harvest them in the summertime. The constituents are here online. Actions: diaphoretic, diuretic, anti-inflammatory, and expectorant. Same as the leaves. Today, flowers are only part of the elder tree that is still commonly used in contemporary herbal medicine. The flowers have a long-standing reputation as a treatment for all kinds of inflammatory and congestive conditions of the respiratory system, especially when these are accompanied by fever. An infusion can be made to treat coughs, colds, and flus, asthma, and hay fever. The diaphoretic action helps to reduce fevers, and thus it is often proven useful in cases of measles, scarlet fever, and other infections. Externally, an infusion of elderflowers can be added to the bath water for a wonderfully refreshing bath that soothes irritable nerves and relieves itchy skin. A cool infusion can be used as an eye wash for sore and inflamed eyes. Earache may be relieved by means of a poultice made from the flowers. For this purpose, a small linen bag is filled with flowers, briefly dipped in hot water and squeezed to press out any excess liquid before it is applied to the aching ear. So that's that. The berries, harvest time is late summer, early autumn. Those are, obviously spring you're going to have the leaves coming out. Summertime, early summer you're going to have the flowers. Late summer you're going to have the berries. Late summer, early autumn. It tells the constituents in here. It does have vitamin C and P and J in it. It's a diuretic, source of nutriments, I think it's supposed to say nutrients and vitamins. The berries are rich in vitamins and minerals and are best used in tonic syrup to ward off winter ailments. They are full of vitamins and thus strengthen the support the whole body. In particular, vitamin J is mentioned, which is specifically indicated to counteract pneumonia. Elderberries are reported to be of value as an alternative remedy in rheumatic conditions. They also soothe sore, inflamed nerves, help to improve poor circulation. Though no longer used in medicinal purposes for completion's sake, we will quote Miss Greaves on these now obsolete applications. The bark is a strong purgative which may be employed with advantage. An infusion of 1 ounce in a pint of water, being taken in wine glassful doses. In large doses, it is emetic. It's a purgative. Dates back to Hippocrates. Anyways, it goes on to talk about the bark and Culpepper talking about how to do it, how to use it. First shots of common elder boiled like asparagus, and the young leaves and stalks boiled in broth, both mightily carry forth middle or inward bark, boiled in water and given in drink, worketh much more violently. And the berries, either green or dry, expel the same humor, and are often given with good success or dropsy. So caution, the fresh roots of American elders, which is not this variety, which closely resembles Sambucus nigra, are extremely poisonous and can cause death if ingested. It's Sambucus canadensis. So if you see that, or American elder is the other for it, that's highly contagious, highly toxic. So be careful of that. Tool making, whilst the branches are bendy and flexible, the heartwood and rootstock nevertheless are extremely strong and have been employed for fashioning various articles as handles, stakes, fences, combs, and even instruments. In our aspects, probably you can make an elder wand, use them for runes. If you take a little branch, a circular branch, and cut it up in pieces, make runes similar to what Ember did. Now it's also insect and vermin repellent. Cattle appear to appreciate the presence of elder in their fields and seem to instinctively recognize the insect repellent properties of the tree. Cows often rub themselves on the stem and branches or stay in its shade to discourage insects from bothering them. In days gone by, when much of the field work was done with help of horses, it was common practice to attach some elder leaves to their horses' harnesses to ward off flies. It's used in cosmetics, and it was used in cosmetics in Victorian times in lotions and to help cleanse the skin. It was used in it's used in dyes. The bark, leaves, and berries can all be used for dyeing. The bark gives a black dye. A decoction of leaves with alum yields a green dye. Whilst the berries with alum dye purple, or if salt is added to the mixture, produce a lilac color. Let's see. Culinary uses. Okay, so that's the uses on there. When it comes to elderberry, I mean, these are good for, and I'll just go into talking about it in my own words. They're good for offerings to your god or goddess, if they are something which the goddess that I tend to follow is Hecate, which she is known as the goddess of medicine and other things, amongst a lot of other things. So something like this would be a good offering in that sense. But what you do for this, let's say you want to make a syrup, you want to make a cough syrup. You would take some water and in a small pan. Now, you probably don't want to make it in large amounts unless you're going to use it. But take it and put it into a pan and start boiling it down. Eventually you will get a syrupy consistency. I would say you probably do want to add some sugar to it just to kind of, it may be bitter when you're boiling it down that way. Whenever it comes to other things, let's say for instance you have a cold or a cough, or in fact I gave a recipe to Ember that I use whenever I have a sore throat or anything like that, which included like rosemary, peppermint, elderberries, and a few other things that, oh, and rose hips. There's other stuff in there. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but you can make a tea out of it, and then just use some honey and lemon, and drink probably a couple, maybe 3 glasses a day. If you start to feel that you're getting the flu coming on, go in there and make a tea or make a syrup or something. But it's a hell of a lot cheaper to buy this and make your own than it is to go to the store, because I can promise you the price for the elderberry syrup, when I looked at it for a small bottle, and I'm saying like probably a 3 to 4 ounce bottle, was the same price that I paid for a pound of these, which this will make quite a bit of syrup. So I mean, it's completely up to you what you want to do with it, but there's many things. I've even used these as incense. Put them, light a charcoal disc, and put a few on it. It's something that I do whenever I'm trying to prepare for divination, which that's not in here, that's completely on me, because it helps to clear my mind, and I concentrate on the scent and whatnot. So, but that's just me. But yeah, so if you have any other thoughts on elderberries, if you want to share any information that you have with elderberries, anything that you do with them, that you make with them, anything like that, leave it down in the comments below. We get a conversation going and see what we can come up with. And thank you for watching, and all these people that's been dinging on here, that's people subscribing, and I love that you all are subscribing to my channel. Hopefully you stay and will enjoy it and share it and like it. And so yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'm doing a myriad of herbal things. In fact, the herbs that Ember showed today, which I can't remember the name of them now, I will pull those up and we'll see what she can do with those. Anyway, so I will see you on the next video. The next video, it's probably not going to be tonight because we're going on 42 minutes on this video. It'll probably be on, well, it's either going to be rosehip or hibiscus flowers, or it might be one of my many hundreds of herbs that I have over there. But we will figure something out, and I will make up some type of plan. If there is an herb that you want to know about, leave it down below, and we will talk about it, or I will find some information on it, find what I can. If I have it, I'll tell you what I use it for. And like I said, we'll go from there. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and if you're still watching after 42 minutes, I knew this video was going to be long, so. But yes, many blessings, and I will see you on the next video.